Today's vexcodevr project is to meander through a disk maze and encounter 5 objects, and then when the red object is encountered, stop moving. So first, click on the playground icon here, and that will bring up the playground. Choose disk maze out of all the choices. All right, first change the name of the vexcode project by clicking up here in the top center. Call it disk maze, and then your name. All right, so some thoughts here is that, again, this is the view looking down. If you want a different view, which is helpful in this case, click on the 45-degree camera and you get that view. And you'll notice that these objects are not just mats on the floor, but they almost look like trees or something. So the robot will encounter them in front of them. So that's quite important. All right, so if we want the robot to stop when it sees the red object, why don't we have a repeat until and have the condition be the red object? So if the front eye detects red, repeat until the front eye detects red, excuse me. So what are we going to repeat? All right, so here we are at the beginning, and we need to move, we need to encounter objects and then get here. So obviously we have to move, we have to change our motion to encounter the next object. So I think there should be some motion here. And if red's detected, of course, we'll end and we can have a stop driving after that loop is over. But up until then, we're going to be on white a lot. So I think we should have a condition where if that the robot moves, drives forward, as long as there is an object is not there. So couldn't we put a while loop in this bigger loop? And can we make our condition the condition in which we don't see something? We just see white, for instance, on the ground. We don't see an object. We're not near an object. So there's a couple ways we can do this. We could use the front eye not near an object, for instance, and keep moving. So we're going to use the not function. Or we could use not detecting blue or green. So if it detects red, then it falls out of this loop. So we don't need to worry about red. So why don't we use just this condition here, while the front eye does not near an object. And so while it's not near an object, when it's further away, it's going to do something. And I think that could be move. Drive forward, for instance. But what if it does, if it is near an object? What if this while loop fails and it's down here? What should we have it do? Well, maybe we should have it do something different if it's green than versus if it's blue. But let's just do the green condition. Let's add an if then to do something if it's green. So again, if we haven't detected red, we're going to keep repeating this loop. While we're not near an object, we're simply going to drive forward. This is when we're just over the white playground. But what if we have detected something? Let's say we've detected a green object. So let's add an if then else. And let's put it after the while. If the while loop fails, and again, we're near an object, that's what that means for the while loop to fail. That means we're near an object. Then let's ask if the front eye detects, let's say green. Well, if the front eye detects green, why don't we make a decision to all, we've encountered one object, we have one under our belt, then what do we want to do then? And I think probably the obvious thing is to turn. We can't go straight over the object because, again, we'll be running over it. So let's turn. And turning right for 90 degrees seems one option. All right, I think at this point you should continue the coding and you should decide what it's going to do if it encounters blue. And then I think one thing that we can throw out though is, what if the robot gets too close to the edge? What could we do then? Well, couldn't we have a condition, and I'll separate this from the rest of it for now, but couldn't we have a while loop or an if then that uses the position of the robot to say, hey, we're going off the field here, off the playground. We need to stay on the playground. So how would we know we were going off the playground? Well, if you remember, the borders of this border has a y value of 1,000, this border y negative 1,000, this border x 1,000, this border x negative 1,000. So knowing that we're close to 1,000 when we're driving off, why don't we use position to indicate when we're in a danger position and need to alter our position? So 1,000 and negative 1,000 have a similar value, and their absolute value is the same. So let's use this absolute value function or comparison, and let's use greater than. So if the absolute value of, how about the position of the x position, if it's greater than 950, let's say, but again, because it's the absolute value, if we take the absolute value of a negative number, it will become positive. So if it was negative 970, let's say, that would also have an absolute value of 970 and would be bigger than 950. So anytime we're near the edge here in the x, and we could do something similar using the OR command for y, if that position is too great, we're too close to the corner, then I think we want to do something like turn. How far do we want to turn? Well, again, since we're near the edge, we probably want to turn for 180 degrees. We want to turn all the way around. And if we're not near the edge, maybe we want to keep driving forward. So let's try to add this to our code as well to prevent the robot from going off the field. Thank you for listening. Make sure you save your file under Save to Your Device, and we'll save it with this name up here.